Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News and a crazy day in the Valorant world yesterday. Some massive results in the North American VCT we're certainly going to dive into. Some huge implications from this one. Sinatraa having a few words for the Guard and exactly how they've been playing the last couple of weeks. And TenZ confirming he will be back for Sentinels game later on this evening. Very much enjoy your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Just some kind of, early scrim bucks going on right here. Then maybe Cloud9 is back in business in kind of what, TSM, FDX, GMD has been seeing in their scrims the last few days. Maybe they're only good at scrims. We'll see, I suppose, this upcoming weekends. Wanted to mention real quick, though, some rostermania stuff, because, of course, we saw Luminosity Gaming yesterday deciding to effectively just leave Valorant entirely. Or, they did make that weird statement that they're going to keep an eye on it, might come back, but probably that's not going to happen, because they believe, I imagine, they're not going to get a spot in the kind of franchise ecosystem that Riot is moving towards. Therefore, let's just get out of there now and try and sell the spot on. Now, other organizations that might be trying to get involved are none other than the Renegades, for example, from the kind of Oceania region, right? Because I guess they're going to be integrated into the Asian League, which might have 10 teams, might have 12 teams, might have 16 teams if they listen to some of the feedback that has been had the last few weeks. But Renegades are looking for a roster down there. Mindfreak as well, big organization for many years in that region. They've released their roster, or kind of set to release their roster, but apparently they're going to look for other rosters in that region as well. So these organizations still seem confident they can get a spot in whatever Riot are going to plan to do in the kind of Asia-Pacific type region they're going to have for the league next season. But don't be surprised if more organizations, even North American organizations, step away over the coming weeks if they don't believe that Riot are going to partner them effectively, is what they're calling it, not really franchising, at least as of yet. Now, confirmation yesterday from Liquid. We looked at yesterday, right, the Link was kind of rumored to be dropped from the team. As they say, he'll move to a substitute role for the remainder of Stage 2. In talking with Travis, we came to the mutual conclusion this was the right decision for the team. In his place, Dreamas will join the active roster as we complete this stage of the VCT. Rather interesting stuff. Link actually says what I thought was a rather interesting statement. I'll be moving to the bench for the remainder of the season. I believe this is something they needed to do to become the best. More details about my future coming soon. So it's a strange statement because basically, look, I was the problem. I needed to be dropped, which is kind of a weird way to say it. He must have, as he says, more details about my future coming soon. So maybe I don't know, maybe he thought that whatever the team dynamic was, whatever their issues were, Link couldn't fit into the role that they needed, and now he's gone due to composition changes. Whatever they were trying to do, just the way he phrased it was kind of interesting, because usually you would say, at least if you're trying to get a spot on a new team, that we just kind of agreed mutually it wasn't the plan, but he effectively implies he was the problem of the team. So we'll see if they actually improve as a result. They did, of course, play a series yesterday up against Na'Vi. They won this one 2-1. That puts them in a pretty good position. Dreamas, of course, 39-44, but the rest of the guys turned up and did their job. The other series of yesterday, which was bigger and more important, probably was Ascend versus G2. G2 practically needed to win this one if they wanted to qualify for the winners bracket or for the playoffs entirely, and Ascend take it down 2-1. Despite getting outside over the course of the series, game 1 split goes to G2 13-3, and then all of a sudden it's 13-10, 13-11 in favour of Ascend. So when the pressure was on, it was Ascend that were clutching up and G2 that were falling short, and that leaves the groups looking like this. G2 1-3. It's still possible probably to have some crazy 2-3 tiebreaker here, but it's rather unlikely, because if FBX just win one more game, then all three of these teams have 3 wins, and that will put all of these 3 teams safely through to the playoffs, and it's looking like a relatively similar story in Group B as well at the moment. But the North American groups are certainly, certainly kind of crazy at the present time, as Ye says actually going into the North American sides, praying for the Guard, TSM and NRG to win this week in the kind of in the Group A tide, because that would mean that everyone in Group A was 2-2, which didn't happen at least in the first port of call last night. So let's talk about this first series then, the Guard versus XSET, like a massive one for the Guard to try and win. XSET, of course, coming in here as favourites to the series. They always tend to be favourites against these teams that, like, the Guard are a very solid team. They won at Stage 1 playoffs. They needed to come in here and win this series. It was pretty much not necessarily a must-win, but, it's very difficult now for them to qualify, having fallen short here, especially as the champions from last time round. You would have thought that, this would have been a great opportunity to do that. They win the game 1 as well. Now, Sinatraa has a few words to say for them here, because honestly, the way they kind of lost the rest of the series was pretty outrageous. In fairness, the Icebox was never really close, to be honest. XSET just came up, they just delivered the goods, to be perfectly honest. And Net and, the 3K right here, got them over the line through the Viper's pit of their 6th round at least, but it doesn't really help them for the rest of the map. And then here we go over to a Haven to finish off the job. They go up 11-10 here on the Haven. There was some other rounds as well, I think it was a 7-7 round. They had a 5 versus 4 trying to hold on to a site over the retake, and somehow they fall short. Net really needed to try and put the Killjoy Molotov out there, and it would have stopped the Dephh. But just some chokes all across the board from the Guard through that round away, and then up 11-10, they then managed to lose the next 3. Honestly, just incredible how they managed to lose this series, to be perfectly honest. And Zekan actually gets this ridiculous ace to finish out the game. This was loses 12-11. He gets, you know, the first and the second kill was very nice. Player had a really rough series here by his standards. It's pretty, I mean, look at the 1x1 peaks as well that we've got here from the likes of the Guards. Just so when the pressure was on, they pretty much just threw away these rounds. But yeah, Player had a really tough time, like, yeah, very low kills, very low damage, very low ACS over the series. Not something you see every day for sure, and yeah, I'm sure he can bounce back, but yeah, tough one for him. Not going to be ideal, especially considering how important this series was for the Guards to get into a decent point. As does point out, I've been going through a lot this week mentally, even though I should have shown a better performance as a professional. I'll come back stronger against NRG next week, show a better performance. And NRG might be kind of beatable based on what we've seen the last few weeks or so, but you know, I guess we'll have to wait and see on that front. And also this from Net, right? I can't believe I messed up something as easy as a KJ Molly, like Killjoy Molly, and loses a game like that. But yeah, they still have a chance to qualify. If TSM loses out and we beat NRG, that being the Guard, then you know, they will actually be able to make it through. But TSM needs to pretty much lose everything from here on out, which might not be the case at all. Now, I wanted to share Sinatra's reaction to this initially because he watches a couple of these rounds, thinks, okay, what are they doing? And then effectively says the Guard are just straight up frauds. These guys, like, you know, when the pressure's on, when they have massive advantages in rounds and situations, they manage to throw them away on a consistent basis. That's not helping at all.
Oh, cry yourself. Guys, this is over. You can send my payment, brother. Wait. Remix, weren't they up 6-0, Remix? Yeah. Wait, never give up. Weren't they up 6-0? Wait, what?
There's a glitch or something.
Okay. Look at this retake. They think they can take this side from UNIP. Whoa.
GG, guys.
Whoa, wait.
Yo,
what the f*** is
Wait.
Fine, 2v2, they're lit, right?
That actually just pissed me off.
We have drone, guys.
Should we wait?
Dude! Oh my god. Do they have time?
My goodness, what a chaotic round.
He has it.
Dude! How? Bad.
Wait.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my. Wait, that was literally the biggest throw in Valorant history I've
Oh
ever
my god!
Nice.
Oh my god, I just lost money?
Wait, the Guard is actually frauds, bro.
Oh my god, there's no way.
These guys actually threw like
Tom,
5 rounds.
The optic
bro.
bet is still up though. So I'll pay you after the optic bet.
We don't have any.
We have an optic bet, bro. What are you saying?
Final series stats are like this. It's CryoCell's Zekken, as expected, kind of the top 2 performers in terms of ACS on the sides of XSET, of course. But yeah, Player 34 and 59. Rough series for him by all accounts. Game 1 was a 14-12 grueler on split. Then Icebox went pretty comfortably the way of XSET. And then Haven was actually a pretty big comeback from the Guard at time. To get this first half to 7-5 was impressive. They took the lead, of course, and then fell short in the final few rounds. Like, there were some rounds here. Some of these diffuses should never really have come in for XSET. They can thank their lucky stars they won this series. But yeah, the Guard find themselves in a real predicament at the present time. A team that does not find themselves in a predicament, though, is none other than Evil Geniuses. What a performance this was. We saw a few days ago, okay, look, we know EG are good. We know they're beating good teams. You know, can they possibly take down the likes of OpTic? Like, of course, the major, Masters champions. Is EG going to be good enough? Is OpTic going to take their first defeat here of the stage? And Game 1 started off in a pretty, in the fashion that indicated that might well be the case. They lose the Game 1 OpTic, they bounce back on the Game 2 here on split, and then it goes all the way after a 13-11 grueler on the split to a Game 3, where OpTic again have a pretty nice situation. They finally win a pistol round. EG won the first 4 pistol rounds of this series, and they converted all of them as well, and that was actually the 14th straight pistol round in, I think, the second half of the second map in the series that EG had won in a row, and converted all 14. So that just goes to show, like, if your pistol rounds are good, and your conversions are good, you're going to put yourselves in such a strong position. They finally lose a pistol against OpTic in, of course, the final map of this series, but they still win the map regardless. They had a 10-6 advantage here, OpTic. They had an 8-4 advantage at the half, and EG managed to bring this one back. The comeback was incredible. Like, the fact that OpTic managed to lose this series 13-11, or lose this map 13-11, but the series 2-1, you can see what it means to the entire team behind the scenes. I'm sure they've been working so hard, and given where EG were, like, 12 months ago or so, for them to be the #1 team now in this group and beating the #1 team in the world is incredibly impressive. Like, they all played well. I know that, of course, the OpTic guys didn't play up to their standards. FNS tweeted out that, okay, he wants a rematch ASAP. Whether that'll happen or not, who knows? It could happen, of course, at the playoffs if that happens, because OpTic's still in prime position, in a very good position indeed to qualify. But yes, Com says to me, EG, we beat OpTic 2-1 at VCT. What an, incredible comeback against the best team in the world. So much hard work has gone into this, and boost your head, of course, the key final round with the tour de force to get them over the line. Stop sleeping on us, no questions asked anymore. So great to see from Evil Geniuses, likeable team. They're making a run at the present time, and as Ye says, lost 2-1. They had a good game plan going into all 3 maps. He reckons they're very well prepared. I played some of the worst Valorant since I joined this lineup. Hurts like hell. I'll promise I'll do better for the future. This is honestly kind of incredible from Ye. He knows he's unbelievable. Like, this guy's been performing so well the last few weeks. He has one series where he has a bit of an off series, and he's like, okay, wow, like, really hurts me even to lose a series like this, that in the grand scheme of things might not mean all that much. And it's still, of course, going to bounce back and try and get better and improve going forward as well. But that number 1 seed is actually rather important in the playoffs, because if you get the number 1 seed for the playoffs, you get a bye in the bracket, which, might be all important down the line. Will Minder does point out here that with that win, XSET is guaranteed a spot in the playoffs, and now OpTic and Evil Genius is a guaranteed spots if either FaZe or Cloud9 lose any of their last 2 games, or they can just win next week. So plausible to happen. The Guard isn't eliminated yet, but there's more than one way for them to qualify for playoffs, but it's not going to be easy at that. Now Evil Genius is 2-0 for OpTic. As you can see, like, Ye right here, he was the second best performer, 48 and 50. It's funny how the worst Valorant of his entire career consists of him effectively going straight up even here with 200 plus ACS still. But Marved was kind of the top performer for OpTic on the day. The kind of consistency across all the agents of Marved is very impressive. But yeah, Jorgamo, Boostio, these guys are what a team they've managed to put together over here with Evil Genius is. 13-8 on Bind, 13-11 on Split for OpTic, and then 13-11 the other way for Evil Geniuses. I mean, look at this comeback towards the end of the game. This should not have been one that happened on the OpTic sides. 10-6, 11-7 to lose 6 straight. That shouldn't be happening if you're OpTic. They've certainly got to think about that one going forwards. And it does put the loss that Sentinels had to Evil Geniuses in a slightly different light, right? The fact that, okay, Sen lost to EG, and everyone said, okay, why losing to EG? This is pathetic. And then they go on to beat OpTic as well. So maybe that means that Sentinels are in a slightly better position than we thought they might well have been going into this upcoming, well, very important match later on today. If they lose today, it's chalked for them for the playoffs. If they win today, they still have a chance if they beat Cloud9 next time around. Sig, of course, though, is not going to be there. Raucus is coming in as the coach. That's a tough time. But the key question was, is TenZ going to be back? He's their main wing condition. If he's not playing, the team is probably chalked. He confirms on stream last night, I believe, that unless things change over the coming hours or he wakes up today feeling terrible, he will be playing in tonight's game.
Am I playing tomorrow? Yeah, I'll be playing tomorrow.
So these now are the groups as they presently stand. Evil Genius is taking over that number 1 spot over OpTic as they won their head-to-head here, right? So as I say, that number 1 seed is pretty important in this group, right? Because you do get the bye through the brackets. OpTic is still going to be fine to qualify. But the question is here, what do Sentinels do? They're 0-3. If they beat FaZe today, if they beat Cloud9, they should make it based on some of the tiebreaker situations. The Guard at 1-3 can still make it, right? But they're going to need TSM and NRG to kind of lose a couple of their series, and they're going to have to hope they win the final one. So they're still okay, but it's far from ideal, and XSET kind of taken over the mantle of the number 1 team in that group, at least for the present time. And these, of course, are the games today. Sentinels FaZe, TSM Ghost Gaming, 2 massive games. I'm going to take probably FaZe to win this one, and Ghost as well. I don't know if Sentinels are going to be able to do it with Raucus on the team, but they played quite well against OpTic a few days ago. Maybe there's something in this. Time will only tell. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button. Told you YouTube gods, this is a good video. I don't like you should see it as well, and I've grown the competitive Valorant community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.